Good morning. We are often asked what makes a good epoxy. A lot of people go on price, and unfortunately price isn't always the best guideline for epoxies nowadays. A lot of companies are spending up to 90% of what you're paying for the epoxy on advertising. And as we all know, unfortunately, advertisers don't always tell the truth. What you need to do is find somebody who's using epoxy. Ask them to see if they will mix you up a small amount, something like about 300 ml, just a small, and make up a puck. Anything will do, a yogurt pot, anything like that. Let it go off and pop it out. Once it's popped out, you'll be able to see just exactly how good the epoxy is. If when it comes out, it's got stickiness all around it, it means that it hasn't been able to mix well in the pot. And sometimes, it doesn't matter how much you actually physically mix it, the stuff just won't mix in, and you get this stickiness left all over it. The other thing to do is, once it's popped out of the mould, have a look through it and see if you've got any air bubbles in it. If you've got air bubbles in it, again, it's not such a good epoxy. What you're looking for is an end result that looks something along this lines, yeah. And as you can see, this is popped out of the puck, out of the mould. It's made a nice puck, and just by looking through it, we can see there are no air bubbles in it. And that's what you want, something just like that. And that is an example of a good epoxy. There's no waxiness on the surface to it, so there's no waxing to get rid of. It's a blush-free epoxy, and that's what you're looking for. It's going to make life so much easier. You've only got to look at the stuff that we've been doing yesterday. This was done quickly yesterday night, about an hour's worth of work to get all this cloth wetted out and stuff. And again, if you look, we've got no air bubbles, and that's what you're after. No air bubbles. There's no wax to this, so once this is set off, we'll just quickly go over this with a light sanding, and it will either then be ready for another coat of epoxy or a finish coat, whichever you're going to do. But golden rule, have a look, no air bubbles, no stickiness.